Welcome to this channel, which is devoted to a reading and better understanding of the book Ascent of Mount Carmel by St. John of the Cross. And today we're on the 31st chapter of the third book. If you haven't already done so, please check out my Facebook page, which is linked down below. It has some content that isn't on this YouTube channel. In the last chapter, St. John began his discussion of supernatural good things, which are charisms given to people through unmerited grace. And in this chapter, St. John tells us that these types of things don't always come from God. He tells us that by taking joy in signs and wonders and prophecy, these things can deceive first the person who performs these works, as well as everyone else who esteems these works. In this chapter, St. John discusses the three evils that might come to us if we take joy in these things. And at first glance, they seem to be very good things. But the three main evils are: these things may deceive, they may cause us to fall away from the faith, and they may lead to pride. The reason we can be so easily deceived by these things is that without a great deal of spiritual direction and light from God, it's very difficult to know which of these things are true and come from God, and which of these things don't. The joy we take from these things has two negative byproducts. First, they blunt and obscure our judgment, and secondly, we become more eager for them and feel an urge to practice them at inappropriate times. Even when these charisms do come from God, these two things cause people to be deceived by them, either because people don't understand the charisms the way that they should be understood, or by not using them at the times and in the ways that God intends. St. John provides several examples in Scripture where individuals had charisms, but because they took joy in them, they either didn't understand them, or they used them improperly or at improper times. And that in turn caused God's anger. Scripture also explains why this is. I did not send prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies, and that prophesy the delusions of their own heart? Behold, I am against the prophets that have lying dreams, saith the Lord, and tell them and cause my people to err by their lying, and by their wonders, when I sent them not, nor commanded them. As St. John discussed in previous chapters regarding revelations, visions, and locutions, whoever has these types of supernatural gifts ought to refrain from desiring to practice them. He should also not take joy in them. And St. John tells us that through proper spiritual direction, we will allow our virtues to inform our souls so that we won't practice these things at the wrong time, nor will we esteem them. We should wait and allow God to work by moving our hearts. God will move our souls to practice the charisms only in the manner and at the times He so desires. This evil of this rejoicing not only leads men to make wicked and perverse use of these graces given by God, but it even leads them to use these graces without having been given them by God, like those who prophesied their own fancies and published the visions which they invented or which the devil represented to them. For when the devil sees them affection to these things, he opens a wide field to them and gives them abundant material and interferes with them in many ways. Speaking of some people who seem to have charisms or the gift of prophecy, St. John continues, "Nor does the evil stop here. To such a point does their joy in these works and their eagerness for them extend, that if before they had a secret compact with the devil, and many of them do in fact perform these works by such secret compacts, it now makes them bold enough to work with him by an explicit and manifest compact, submitting themselves to him by agreement as his disciples and allies." The second evil that comes to us from taking joy in these things is a falling away from the faith, and this comes as a consequence of the deceptions that we just discussed. The falling away from the faith can happen in two ways. The first is regarding the others, the people who follow the person with a charism. When somebody sets out to perform a marvel or a prophecy, which in itself is sinful because it's tempting God, that marvel may very well not succeed, or at least not succeed all the time. And their failure will disappoint the followers of the would-be prophet, and that could lead many to fall away from the faith as a result of their disappointment. Unless you see signs and wonders, you believe not. People spend a lot of time and energy chasing after prophets or healers, or spending time on Facebook forwarding photographs with vague light shapes that they think maybe looks just a little bit like the Blessed Mother. They may be putting more faith in the mysterious private revelation than in the public revelation that is readily available through Scripture and the Church's tradition. I may be wrong, but I can't think of any seer or prophet since the Second Vatican Council who hasn't made a false prophecy or hasn't made a prophecy that conflicts with the church's tradition. And also, though I might be wrong, I can't think of any signs and wonders such as the stigmata happening to somebody since the Second Vatican Council that hasn't shown to be false. And I'll address the reasons for the dearth of these genuine signs and wonders since the Second Vatican Council in a future video. And the second way we might fall away from the faith is that it transfers our faith from sound faith in God and His church to a faith just based on revelations or wonders. Even where signs and witnesses abound, there is less merit in believing. These marvels are never worked by God save when they are really necessary for belief. God is usually not inclined to work miracles through people in this way. When He does so out of necessity. And then the third evil is that people who take joy in performing these types of things will very likely become prideful. Rejoice not in this, that spirits are subject unto you, but rejoice in this, that your names are written in heaven. Well, I hope you enjoyed this installment of Ascent of Mount Carmel. We'll be back again in about another week with another installment. In the meantime, please check out our Facebook page and please pray for the church.
Don't ask me to move a mountain. Don't ask me to swim the sea. Don't think that I'm a tower of strength. Don't lean too much on me. When looking to the future, oh, don't build your dreams too high. I beg you to remember, I'm just an ordinary guy. I ain't no miracle worker. I do the best that I can. I ain't no miracle worker.